Matt, has Ricardo Benitez joined y'all yet, or?
Yeah, he's just going through all the the stuff to get on the team. You know? So he's here. He's with us. He just has to go through the process.
Yeah.
So far.
What do you think of him just coming out and practicing with you on that kind of thing?
Well, I'm excited to get him out. He came to camp last year, and we talk all the time about wanting to have a brand. Wanting to be tough, hardworking, and competitive. And he certainly is those things. Mm-hmm. And I think everyone that was with him at camp, that worked with him, respected who he is and respected the effort that he gives. And when you find guys that give effort, you want to be around them. So we're anxious to have him here and to have him be a part of the squad.
Matt, the clock never stops. So does it feel like it's getting close to first game, that kind of thing?
Yeah, we're kind of out of training camp mode. We're kind of changing practice, going from all day and all night to really encouraging our guys to find a balance between being great students and having a life outside of football and being great at football. So that's one of the challenges. But I'm excited to see the guys come together. We still have a lot of work to do. We can't begin to look at the opponent yet, but we'll probably start that Friday. But it's just kind of fun to see really the culmination of the work for camp. I'm really proud of the work this camp, and so just to see guys really kind of hitting their stride right now is nice.
Last time we talked to you, you said quarterback's still a long ways to go. Are they any closer to kind of working out who's going to be the starter and what that looks like?
I don't know really at a lot of positions that I'm probably we'll take tomorrow off. Tomorrow's our off day, and we'll probably go back and talk about a lot of positions and who's where. As you guys know, we've had some guys banged up, so some of those decisions have been made for us. But I think the biggest thing is that all of our guys have played well. So I feel really good about the quarterback position, and I've seen Charlie out there, and I've seen what Jalen can do in practice, and I've seen Gary's development. So I feel good about the position. It's just more, really at all the positions, going back now, watching the tape, making really good decisions. And even this new redshirt rule, man, I got a lot of work ahead of me this weekend, figuring out who's where, and I don't know if anyone really, if you really want to do it right, if anyone really realized the stress it would create, because you want to make sure you do right by everybody. That's the biggest thing, right? I don't ever want to feel like I didn't do right by somebody, so we'll put a lot of time in this weekend to make sure that we're really evaluating everyone.
Does it look like Jake Rhule Morgan's going to be ready for the opener? Or?
I don't know. They said he should be able to maybe practice next week.
Okay.
There's a chance he could be. He also hasn't. We've had some guys get banged up, and they were back the last couple of days, and they look like ghosts. Just after how tired and the heat and all that. So, I don't know if he'll be 100% ready. John Carlo Valentine has done a great job. He's a little bit banged up, so he could be out for a couple days, a couple weeks maybe. Malin's played well. So I hope Jake should be back there soon. So if he's ready to go next Saturday, great. If not, we'll have him the Saturday after, I'm sure, and get him going from there.
So Valentine possibly banged up, and also the other injuries. Kind of what's that tackle position looking like?
Probably, Pat Lawrence is out there. He doesn't miss a day. Doesn't miss a rep. Doesn't miss anything. And then probably Josh Malin at the other side. Ellie Asa, Connor Galvin, and then Jake. Working back in. Khalil Keith, who was left tackle all spring. We played him at guard some. He's bringing some power, which I like. So he can still go back and forth and do both.
If that would have happened last year at this time, you're pretty much dead in the water in some of those positions, right? You now have at least some options to not rush people back or not just panic, not panic.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Panic. We have more depth, more options. And I think the biggest thing is, when you're the coach, you worry so much about who the starting five are. I also spend a lot of time looking at the next five and the guys underneath that. We have guys, got a guy like Henry Kling, who been taking rep after rep after rep after rep, and you just see them getting better. And so, it's really hard to practice. It's really hard to get good without practicing. And when you practice, eventually you're going to get some guys hurt. You hope that they're not season-ending. You hope that they can come back. And so I'm proud of the young guys. I think they've really kind of come on. We would have probably been put in the wing tee last year, split back beer or something.
On the red shirts, everyone may think you just play them for 4 games, but don't you have to also look down the road that if you play them for 3 or 4 games and then a position that they're behind gets hurt, then you're looking at losing a
Yeah.
red shirt.
Well, that's what I meant. Like if you just sort of willy-nilly play a guy for the first 4 games, just to play him, and then you say you're gonna redshirt him, and then all of a sudden a guy gets hurt game 10, and now you have to make a decision to put him in. Now he played 5 games. It's a lot of college football games, but really trying to figure out. And some guys as freshmen are ready to play right now. Connor Galvin on the offensive line is ready to play right now. Some guys are going to be ready in 3, 4, 5 weeks. Some guys are going to be ready at the end of the year if needed, right? So there's all of that. Some guys I'd love to wait till late in the year, but now I have some injuries and I have to get them ready now. So it's going to be a week by week. It's going to be like the NFL. It's going to be like, hey, this guy's active, this guy's inactive. It's going to be that kind of a mentality week in and week out. In our scenario, in our situation here, where we have some youth, even with the second and third year guys, you have guys that haven't redshirted yet that maybe we can get them a redshirt year, and that's really, for some guys, that really makes the difference in their career academically and athletically, right? Where they can now have an extra year if they're not the starter early on. So we're going to try to do a good job with the whole thing.
You're kind of on the heels of that. How much different do you feel going into this year right now than you did probably this point a year ago?
I feel way more comfortable. I know the players. I know you guys. I know my way around. I know the schedule. I know Baylor. I know how the class schedules work. If I did anything terrible last year, I kept changing schedules all the time because just trying to get a feel for it. I take it very seriously how our guys do in school, right? And so if, last year we were practicing in the mornings and I kept getting reports back that guys were asleep in class. And so I said, well, we're not practicing in the mornings then. Mm-hmm. And so it's just taking, now I'm just kind of, hey, this is how we do things. We've got it all set up. So I just feel better. And then I just feel way better about where our team is. I don't know where we are, but I know we're way better than we were. And how good that is, we'll find out next Saturday, right? We'll find out the Saturdays after that. The biggest thing is, I think that we're all, I think the point of a head coach is to get everyone focused on something and then align everyone towards that. And I feel like we're all very much focused and aligned on the right things. And not that they weren't trying last year, we just didn't know each other. And now we all know each other, and I'm just pleased with how it's heading.
Matt,
Coach,
since you
Lockhart.
coach that position, do you need the 5 to work together, the offensive line? Do you need those 5 working together to kind of work as a unit, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm not a big. That sounds. I like that obviously, but like if I was in the NFL, they'd say, hey, Snee might not be able to go. This guy's working it left guard all week. You have 7 guys, right? So chemistry's great, working together is great, but at the end of the day, I need to get the 5 best guys in the field, right? And I need to have other guys so that when they get tired, I can play them. If it's hot like it is out there today, next Saturday, like we're gonna have to have more than just 5 guys playing on the offensive line. So, I need to be able to go out there with my, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th offensive linemen. 15th, 16th, 17th, that's 5. Okay, I need to be able to go there with 5 of those guys and get them ready to play. And so that's it. So we've been banged up a little bit on the O-line and D-line, more so than the other positions. It's the first time in my history of my camp I haven't had a receiver. We lost a guy the first day. Trevor White is his toughest spot.
That was me knocking on wood.
Knocked on plastic.
Close enough.
But and that was through training camp. No, never in the season. But so we've had a lot of guys practice a lot of football. But the O-line, I'd love to say I want to have chemistry, but you get tough guys, they can go anywhere. Like and all the scouts come in, they tell me about Blake Blackmore. I say he can play, he can play every position. Pat Lawrence. So once they learn it, conceptually, they can hopefully go do it.
What has Sean and also Josh Cochran shown you in dealing with that unit?
Well, I think number one, tremendous humility. It's to coach a position and have Coach DeLeon, still in the building, sitting there, and the guy knows more than I forgotten more than I ever know. To have the head coach be the guy that coached the position that you coach is awful. And so those guys have shown tremendous humility in dealing with that. And I think they've shown at the end of the day, like they love to teach. And I'm telling you, Josh Cochran now, he says he's a GA. That's a heck of a football coach. He's a heck of a football coach. And Sean's is a really good football coach. He just happens to be the second best coach in his family, but he's a really good football coach. It's fun his dad comes out here. But yeah, so those guys are good football coaches. They've done a good job with their players, and they haven't been shy about it. Like, let me feel my way into it. When they jumped in, our offensive line is playing better as a result. And like I said, I'd love to have John Carlo out there. He's going to be outstanding. I'd love to have Jake. So are we a little bit weaker than? Yeah, we're a little bit weaker than we maybe could be in terms of the people. But what that's done is that's given other guys chances to develop. So I think they've done a really good job.
At what point did you really start to feel a little more settled
Just in terms of like this season or just overall?
Just overall.
I'd say once the year was over and we went out and we recruited, I think we got through the season and, I remember guys even here, some of you guys were asking like, hey, is everyone going to leave? You're going to have a mass exodus, I mean, people are coming up, hey, we've heard this, we heard that. And a couple guys left, right? People are going to leave every year, but the kids all stayed. They worked hard, and I said to myself, okay, we're heading in the right direction. Then we had a good recruiting class. I felt good about the recruiting class. And then I just think the people here in Waco and, from my kids' school and everywhere have made it a really good transition. And I say all the time, like people think about the transition for us, man. I go back and forth from my house to here. It's dark. I see the same, neighbor walking the dog every morning. I don't see anybody. It's the transition on our families that's so brutal. And the people here have been amazing, from schools to everywhere. And so I think as we got into, I'll say this, Ben, as we got into spring, I just saw, it wasn't like sometimes people think the players adapted to us as coaches. I think we all kind of just did this, you know what I'm saying? And so that's my biggest thing is I'm not here to coach the guys I recruited. I'm here to coach the guys on the team, guys that are here. And I think I try to do a better job of relaying that. I think the players opened up, and I think we're in a good place, and we've been in a good place probably since the spring.
Given that you've had experience with both, going out there next Saturday without playing a preseason game, you see the injuries in the NFL, which way do you prefer? Would you prefer to get your team out there in game situation before the season starts?
Well, if I could play a preseason game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I would love to. The biggest issue for us right now as our football team is I know when we practice, we're a pretty good football team. Are we going to bring practice to the game? And, we've had NFL scouts come in here, and they've said to us, like, guys, people, like, you're fun to watch practice. These guys are fun to watch practice. And we don't play music during practice. Every fifth period, we're not hype. I don't dance. We practice, and our kids practice at a high level. The key is what's going to flip it to where we bring it into the game. Where we go to the game and we're not worried about the score or the crowd or anything. We just want to go play, and we love to play. And that's confidence, right? And so how do you get that confidence? Do you wait to have success to have confidence, or do you have confidence first? And that's the million-dollar question. And so, I don't want a team that goes out there next week scared. That's like, oh, remember last year? I don't care about last year. I want a team that goes out confident, ready to play. And so it starts with the coaches. It starts with all this. So if I could have a preseason game to get us kind of our feet wet, I would love it. We do scrimmages over in McLean. There's nothing worse than scrimmaging in a beautiful 45,000-seat stadium with no one in it. There's not a lot of energy. All you can hear is my voice. So to get out there and have the energy of the crowd and all that, it'd be fun. Preseason games are fun in the NFL. Anytime you get your team ready, even in the NFL, you're going to risk injuries, and that's tough. So it's kind of more fun when you get to the games.
Now that you're through camp, where have you seen the biggest improvements on the defensive side of the ball?
The biggest improvements on the defense have been probably at corner. I think our corners from last year to this year have really taken a step. And they played well at times last year, too, let me say that. But they had some, tough moments, too. But I think Francis has done a fantastic job with them, and they've done a fantastic job. And I'd say the other thing is just our overall communication, knowledge, maturity, all those things. We're just such a significantly better group in that regard.
Matt, are your linebackers getting healthier, or what's the status there?
Yeah, Clay should be available next week. Terrell Bernard practiced the other day. Jordan Williams has been an Iron Man. He's been out there every day. I'm proud of him. Henry Black. Did you announce single digits or anything like that?
Nope.
You want me to wait for all those things? You want to do your little release and all that?
I think the cat is out of the bag, Coach.
Well, Henry Black was a single digit, and we only voted for 2 of them the other day. And we'll get it out there, tweet it out there, guys. Look at this guy.
Just go ahead and tell them who the other one is.
I'll tell you what, the other one is special to me, in that this was a guy that he and I didn't really click at first, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I had to get to know him. Now, I knew his parents, and he's got a wonderful family. I knew he played for John King, and so I knew he knew how to be coached. I just had to get to know him, and but Henry Black and Jermichael are in single digits. Team voted for him. Team voted for a lot of guys. That's why I didn't do them all at once. There's a lot of guys that they picked, right? So proud of those guys. But Henry Black's playing linebacker, and Henry's done a great job. Tell those guys to go outside. Tell them to walk through outside.
What numbers should
I haven't done the numbers
Okay,
yet.
just-
Yeah, I haven't
just
done the
they've been
numbers yet.
voted
I'm going
to.
to get them all in there together and kind of
Yep.
pick them, so let them pick the numbers. So
Okay.
I think Jermichael wore 6 at one point before we got here, so I'm sure he's going to start lobbying for 6. And Henry Black, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He just, I'll just tell you one story about Henry. This guy doesn't say a word. Just doesn't say a word, doesn't complain. Hey, we need you to play safety and linebacker. Yes, sir. So we did this thing called max effort that Kent Johnson brought to us that they did in the NFL where you play 10 plays in a row as fast as possible and you try to run and touch the ball on every one. And then they coaches evaluate how many plays you went max effort, not as a punishment, but to see, hey, this is where his conditioning level is and how many plays should you play that guy. So I had the team. I said, hey, you guys grade yourself, right? And then text me. People think kids are like, they don't like to be coached. They are hard on themselves. Kids are actually too hard on themselves. I was 1 out of 9. I was 2 out of 8. All of a sudden I get a text from Henry Black. With the 1s, I was 7 out of 10. With the 2s, I was 3 out of 7. I said, how the heck did you take 17 plays? It was team max effort. Most guys took 8. And they didn't have enough safeties, and he didn't want anybody else to get hurt, so he went and played safety. So he played all the plays with the 1s and the 7 plays with the 2s and didn't say a word to anybody. Didn't tweet it. And so he's my kind of guy, right? Doesn't say a lot, just goes out there and competes. And his teammates, I don't vote for the single digits, they do it. So we got a lot of their single digits coming. I don't know if I answered your question about linebackers, but we got some good guys. Blake Lynch, we've been playing with a safety drop down, so Blake Lynch is playing safety and dropping down like Henry. So we'll see.
What changed for you with Jermichael?
Yeah, I don't want to make that come across like we didn't get along.
Right.
What I'm saying is, anybody knows Jermichael. He's pretty stoic. He's pretty quiet. He had some injuries early on in his career. It takes him a while to get warmed up. So like, I'm one of those guys, man. I walk out I like to be the last guy at the practice field because I want to get out there and see if I see guys walk them. And so it just took me a while to understand Jermichael, what makes him tick. But I'll tell you what speaks to me is effort. And this is a guy that got up to squat like 625, bench pressing, studies, practices, prepares, just doesn't say a lot, but leads by example. And so I hope I didn't say that. I just didn't know him, right? But when I met his parents, I said, wow, those are cool people. Now when I knew he played for Coach King, I knew like, this guy wants to do this. And you guys will always ask me like, Coach, are we going to spread? Are we going to be in the spread? Are we going to be in the spread? You don't want to be in the eye. Just know this. Jermichael comes to me and says, Coach, can we please get in the eye? Because that's what he did along with you. So he's an old school back, and he's going to have a good year along with a lot of other guys.
You have a time frame or what you're thinking for the other single digits?
Probably this weekend, yeah. Taylor asks me that every day. I think it's such a big deal. I want to be fair to everybody, right? I want them to have enough time to show everybody what they can do. So I'll probably do that on Saturday.
Lockhart was wearing a white offensive practice jersey yesterday. Are y'all thinking about anything?
Who's that?
James Lockhart.
No. So on Saturday we switched them over. We switched once we started kind of like, hey, getting closer to game week. I wanted the scrimmage the other night to feel different. So the defense has been in white and the offense has been in green over the last really since what day was it? The last scrimmage Saturday. Yeah, so we just switched the colors of the guys. Now Locke has been a guy we've repped at fullback, so that's a very valid question. We've repped Lockhart at fullback, but Kyle Boyd's done a nice job, so we haven't used Locke quite as much. But defensive end's a position. We have some talented guys, maybe not as much deep as we'd like, and so Locke has to really play well for us. But yeah, we just kind of switched the colors. I like the quarterback. Dumb as this sounds, at the end of the day, I like the quarterbacks on game week. The offense always wears the jersey we're wearing that week and the helmet we're wearing that week. I just think the quarterback should see that color all week as he's throwing.
How have your young tight ends progressed?
They've been good. It's hard playing tight end in this offense because you do so many different things. I'd say Christoph Henley really has just shown me a lot. He's got to block Greg Roberts every day. And Greg is a big physical cat, and he gets knocked back. He knows he's going to get knocked back, and he just keeps fighting. He's getting better. And then I think Ben Sims is a guy that's gone from not really being an inline blocking tight end, more being a spread out guy, and he's had to learn how to do it, and he's trying to do it. So that's all been a pretty good group. They've worked hard. But I think Christoph really, because he was here in the spring, he maybe had a little bit of a head start over everybody else.
You mentioned when you first got those Vices helmets, you were interested in hearing how they sounded and kind of, worked. What have you thought about those?
They seem like they work fine. I don't think anything can ever. I don't think they even claim to prevent, concussions and all. I think it's more long term. But, we have the Vices. We also have the Rhule Speeds, which are the NFL's top rated thing, and we also have some guys in the Rhule Precision Fits where they go in with a laser and they sculpt your head, and they make so we have guys in those too. So we have all of our guys are in the highest rated helmets, and they're probably all great. I mean, I had the one that used to blow up, you know, when I played the blue bladder. So I mean, it's all better than what we had. So, but I think they're all great, and I appreciate the Vices people and the Rhule people all for making sure we have the safest